Oakland was officially
People
incorporated
came
as a
from all
city
over.
in 1852. It was named for the large oak groves that originally covered the area. The city grew rapidly as a transportation hub, thanks to its strategic location on San Francisco Bay and the completion of the
It's a port
Transcontinental
city.
Railroad in 1869, which established Oakland as the western terminus.
And real quick, since we're talking about the Transcontinental Railroad, Oakland, actually, a little known fact, and I'm going to read this because I don't remember all of these words off the top of my head, but basically, there was a black porters union, and they were the first, I believe, I'm going to read it again. I believe they were the first to sign a contract with a large American company. So, what's up, fam? Matthew Sewell, your real estate plug, and today we're going to discuss the history of Oakland. As you may or may not know, I live here. I love it here. Obviously, I have a list of things that I would like to see different, but I love it despite the issues that the city has. And if you've been paying attention, it's definitely got some stuff that's popped up as of late. That's a separate video. But, you know, I love it here regardless. And I do want to discuss the history of it. I want to hear what your thoughts are. So if you got thoughts, you got ideas, something doesn't sound right to you, drop it in the comments. I want to hear what you have to say. But yeah, we're going to discuss the history from its early on to now. And I'll give you my feedback on it, and we're going to jump into it. You ready? Let's go.
Oakland's history is rich and complex,
Facts.
reflecting its evolution from a Native American settlement to a major urban center in
The
California.
Ohlone people.
Pre-colonial and early history Native American settlement. Before European contact, the area now known as Oakland was inhabited by the Ohlone people,
Land
who
of
lived
the
in
Oaks.
small villages and sustained themselves through hunting, fishing, and gathering. The Ohlone people had a deep connection to the land, with a culture that emphasized community and respect for nature.
Yep.
19th century, founding and growth Spanish and Mexican era. In the late 18th century, Spanish explorers arrived in the area, eventually leading to the establishment of Spanish missions and ranchos.
Yep. I'm going to pause
During
this real
the
quick. So you can tell the Spanish influence just by looking at the architecture here. And I didn't realize how deep it was until I went to the Dominican Republic. I was in the DR, and I was looking around. I was like, yo, these buildings, they look super familiar. What is this about? And then I looked around even more. I didn't wander too far. I did have a car I could have, but I was looking around, and I'd seen a sign that said Little San Francisco. I said, oh, they did this all over the place, obviously, but that was my aha moment. So yeah, you can definitely tell the Spanish influence by the architecture, by the buildings. So there's that.
Mexican period, 1821-1848. Much of the land in the East Bay was divided into large ranchos granted to Mexican settlers. American period and founding of Oakland. After California became part of the United States in 1848, the gold rush spurred rapid population growth. Oakland was officially incorporated
came
as a
from all
city
over.
in 1852. It was named for the large oak groves that originally covered the area. The city grew rapidly as a transportation hub, thanks to its strategic location on San Francisco Bay and the completion of the
port city.
Transcontinental Railroad in 1869, which established Oakland as the western terminus.
And real quick, since we're talking about the Transcontinental Railroad, Oakland, actually, a little known fact, and I'm going to read this because I don't remember all of these words off the top of my head, but basically, there was a black porters union, and they were the first, I believe, I'm going to read it again. I believe they were the first to sign a contract with a large American company. So let's see here. What does it say? There we go. Boom. The Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters Union became the first African-American-led union to sign a contract with a large American company. The union's West Coast headquarters were established at 5th and Wood Streets in West Oakland. C.L. Dellums, the uncle of Ron Dellums, was an early leader of the union. So this place is historic for many different reasons, and that's a big deal. Yep, so let's jump back in here. Side note.
20th century, Industrialization and social change. Industrial boom. In the early 20th century, Oakland became a major industrial center,
Facts.
attracting workers from across the country.
Facts. And side note, Oakland was known as the West Coast Detroit, the Detroit of the West, because of its industrialization. So here's some more facts. Durant Motors opened a plant in Oakland from 1921 to 1930, manufacturing sedans, coupes, convertibles, and roadsters. By 1929, when Chrysler expanded with a new plant there, Oakland had become known as the Detroit of the West. Oakland expanded during the 1920s, flexing enough to meet the influx of factory workers. So, yeah, we had a bunch of factories and was a bustling port and warehouse city. So this place was lit. I would love to see that come back, right? I would love to see manufacturing, cars. I mean, we're super close to, tech central, right? I would love to see maybe some smart cars. I would really, really love to see some hydrogen cars, some fire hydrogen cars come out of Oakland, since, we got the space, we got the industrial buildings for sure. I think we could definitely do it. But back to the video.
Including a significant number of African Americans from the South during the Great Migration. Oakland became a major industrial center, attracting workers from across the country, including a significant number of African Americans from the South during the Great Migration.
Yep.
The city's population and economy boomed, particularly during World War II,
Yep.
when Oakland's shipyards and factories played a crucial role in the war effort.
Yep.
Civil rights and social movements. Oakland was a significant center for the civil rights movement in the 1960s and 1970s.
Yep.
The Black Panther Party, founded in Oakland in 1966
Facts.
by Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale,
Facts.
became a powerful symbol of resistance against police brutality and racial inequality. The city's social and political activism during this period left a lasting impact on its identity. Late 20th century to present, challenges in resilience. Economic challenges.
Facts.
Post-war industrial decline and suburbanization led to economic challenges, including job losses and disinvestment in many Oakland neighborhoods.
Facts.
The city also faced issues with crime and public safety, which contributed to a negative reputation during the latter part of the 20th century. Gentrification and urban renewal. In recent decades,
Right, here, hold on.
Oakland
I'm
has
gonna pause this.
experienced
I'm going to pause this. I think very few things happen by chance, and I think the removal of investment from this area, I think a lot of the problems that Oakland has had historically, I think were not by chance. I think they were all done strategically to an extent, right? I mean, if you look at what happened with the Black Panthers, a lot of government involvement, setting up people, blah, blah, blah. So, not to mention the crack epidemic, there's a lot of things that happen here, not to mention freeways that, redlining. There's a lot of things that were done here intentionally. And I love California. I'm a Californian through and through. But just because we live in California doesn't mean that we didn't have issues with racism and other things, right, that came behind that. So yeah, it's an extremely liberal place, very progressive, but the racism here still exists. There was still racist practices led by the government, by the FHA, by the police, this, that, the list goes on. But yeah, and then speaking about gentrification, that has absolutely been an issue of the 20th century. I'm sure that it's not necessarily that term has been used, but when people buy things in areas and improve things in areas and people can't afford the rent or get kicked out, displacement, that's what happens, right? Like, and there's a formula to it. It typically happens outside of the downtown centers, right? Because downtown is a busy place. People want to live there. And the areas typically on the outskirts of downtown are a lot more affordable, typically more renters, and people tend to buy these places up because it's more affordable and then drive the prices up, sometimes kick people out. And that's how we have this phenomenon known as gentrification. So in order to fight it, don't sell grandma's house, right? If you have a home, if you have an inheritance, if you have something, if you come into an asset, don't sell it. Use it to work for you. And if for whatever reason you do decide to sell it, you have to, whatever the case, just have a strategy in place for it, right? I get it. Life happens. You want to make moves, you want to do things, but this is kind of what's hurt us. Not there's a long list of things, but this is kind of what's hurt us as people is not having a plan for our resources. So yeah, there's that.
Significant gentrification, particularly in areas close to downtown and along the waterfront. This has brought new investments and developments, but also concerns about displacement of longtime residents and changes to the city's cultural fabric.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm not from here. I'm from Sacramento. But I've seen it happen in Sacramento. It's crazy when you have people who have grown up in an area can't afford to be there anymore, right? So that's why I say don't sell grandma's house if you don't have to, right? Stay in it, at least rent it out, do something. And if you have any questions about renting or selling or buying, don't hesitate to hit me at any time. So yeah, there's that.
Cultural renaissance. Despite challenges,
Beautiful
Oakland
artistic
has
city.
maintained a vibrant arts and cultural scene.
Absolutely.
It is known for its diversity, activism, and creative energy, which continue to shape its identity. Today, Oakland is recognized for its rich cultural heritage, diverse communities, and ongoing efforts to balance growth with social equity. The city's history is a testament to its resilience and ability to adapt to changing circumstances.
Yep, that all sounds pretty accurate to me. Definitely the dates of the Black Panthers, definitely the Transcontinental Railroad, definitely gentrification, definitely it belonging to the Ohlone people before the Spanish came through and did what they did. I don't know specifically. I mean, 1848 sounds about right because I know 49ers, 49 for Gold Rush, and that era. So yeah, I mean, it all sounds accurate as far as the history goes. And yeah, I mean, I love it here. I was contemplating moving back to Sacramento, but I'm doubling down. I'm going to stay here. I definitely see a lot of potential in this place. I've built a community. I'm fortunate enough to have made some really good friends that have come, turned into family. So I love it here, and I want to be a part of the Renaissance because, if you live here, you know what's going on. If you don't live here, I'm sure you've heard of some things that are going on. There's definitely been some stuff in the news as of late, which is, again, probably for later. I do want to cover some of that stuff, and there's been some crazy things that have come out. But I love this place. If you love it, I'd love to hear what you love about it. If you hate it, I'd also love to hear that too. But don't give negative feedback, commentary. Here's a rule for me, my channel. I would love for you to abide by this, but obviously you're going to do what you want. I would love to hear, if you have something negative to say about it, I would love to hear what you would do to make it a better place. Huh? How do you feel about that? All right. So with all of that being said, it is I, Matthew Sewell, your real estate plug. Thank you for spending the time with me. I love you. I look forward to seeing you soon. All right. Peace.